Nechama and I moved to South Day, to Kendall and Pinecrest area in August of 95. One of the questions that we get asked many times, what made us, or inspired us, or drove us to move down there and open up a Chabad center? It's not only a question about us. You could ask the same question about thousands of Chabad rabbis all over the world. Wherever there's a Jew, there's a Chabad rabbi there. What inspired a Chabad rabbi to open a center in Russia, in Australia, and in China, and in Vegas, and in Miami, wherever it may be? The answer is one word: the Lubavitcher Rebbe. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, who yesterday was his yahrzeit, the day of passing, the third day of Tammuz, 26 years ago. But the Lubavitcher Rebbe took over the leadership of the Chabad movement in 1950. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe came right after the darkest period in the history of the Jewish nation, and maybe the history of the world. The Rebbe lived under communism and lived under Nazism. But the Rebbe came to America and said, Hitler, Yamach Shemoy, may God rest his name, looked to find any Jew wherever they may be and kill them. We have to find every Jew, and not only every Jew, every human being, and inspire them with holiness and godliness and bring them light and love, physical love, spiritual love, and be there for them. Go all over the world and let's spread the light and goodness wherever it may be. Sometimes people wonder, Chabad, I go into your house, I see pictures of the Rebbe. It's, what's the big deal about a Rebbe? Why do we need a Rebbe? Aren't we all serving God the same way? Don't we all have the same Torah? We could just follow the Torah. Why do we need a Rebbe, a holy Jew? This question, Korach asked the same question in this week's Torah portion. Korach asked Moses, we don't need you to be a leader. We all got the Torah from God. We all know the commandments. We can have a direct relationship with God. We don't need any holy people. We don't need any tzaddikim. What didn't Korach understand? What is the role? And he was wrong, Korach. And we know the end of the story, what happened to him. What did Korach did not understand is that the Jewish nation, or the world, is one body. And there's hands, and there's a heart, and there's a nose, and there's feet. But the head has a very important role. What's the role of the head? The role of the head is to give direction to the body. The role of the head is to illuminate to the body what its mission is and what its purpose is. A Rebbe comes from the word Rosh B'nai Yisrael as the head. They have the role that God put in every generation to inspire the world, to awaken the people and remind them what their mission in life is. It's like, sometimes you drive on the highway. I know when I go to North Carolina, you pull up at night. And then versus you drive in the morning. When you drive in the morning, you go, wow, last night I drove at night. I didn't notice any of the mountains. I didn't notice any of the hills. Did they exist? Yes. But it was dark. I couldn't see it. But when there's light in the morning, wow. What's the difference between night and the morning? At night it existed, but it was concealed. Once there's a little light, you get to see all the beauty. That's the role of a Rebbe. The role of a Rebbe, a tzaddik, is to bring the light, to illuminate, that we can see the beauty around us, to see the mission around us, to see our purpose. Even if we're feeling dark, their responsibility is to illuminate and bring light to us. And that's what Korach didn't understand. To bring out this point very well, I remember I heard this story. I was there by the story, but I didn't realize the details of the story. Only I heard about it later from Rabbi Lipsker, the rabbi of the Shul of Bell Harbor. On Shabbos in Crown Heights, the highlight of the day was at 1:30, the Lubavitcher Rebbe would come down to the big synagogue in 770 and give a talk to his Hasidim. Thousands of Hasidim were there. And the Rebbe would talk about the Torah portion and the message. It would be about a holiday. It could be something current event in the message. Different things the Rebbe would talk about. So one time, Rabbi Lipsker brought a group of inmates that were at the end of the program and they were about to leave prison to go back to society. So they had this furlough program, and he brought them to Crown Heights to maybe inspire them to, when they come out, to live like a good Jew is supposed to live. A godly life, a moral life, an ethical life. And he sat them all together in 770. And usually the Rebbe comes down at 1:30. And at 1:30, the Rebbe's secretary comes to Rabbi Lipsker, is looking for Rabbi Lipsker. And he says, Rabbi Lipsker, please, take this group and I want you to spread them out in the crowd. Because in 770, everybody has a beard and a black hat. If you don't have a beard and a black hat, people know that you came from out of the community. If you have a group of 25 people sitting together, people will start asking, who's that group? I don't want anyone to say, oh, these are people that went to prison. People leaving prison soon. Spread them out. And then during the Farbrengen, the Rebbe started talking about the one story in the Bible that talks about someone going to prison was Joseph. Joseph went to prison. Now the Rebbe said that sometimes a person ends up in prison will say to himself, those years that I'm in prison was a complete waste. Maybe I shouldn't have been in prison, I didn't have a good lawyer, whatever you may say. And you feel like I'm just wasting my time, there's nothing I could have done here. I can't accomplish anything. So the Rebbe said, if you look in the Torah, who is a prisoner is Joseph. Joseph was put in prison for being accused of something he didn't do. And the Torah tells us that one day Joseph was walking in the courtyard and he saw two people who were upset. So he goes over to them and tells them, Adua pneichem roim hayoim. Why are you down and depressed? And they told him because we had a dream, and he explained to them the dream, and then because of that, he was right how he interpreted the dream. Later on, Pharaoh had a dream, and one of the inmates reminded himself, oh, I know a guy who could translate your dream, it's Joseph. They called Joseph out of the prison, out of the jail, and he interpreted Pharaoh's dream, and then Pharaoh loved him so much, and he made him his top advisor. And then later on, the brothers came down, and the Jews moved to Egypt. Then we became slaves. Eventually, we were freed from Egypt, and we have the story of Passover, and then we got the Torah. What did the Rebbe say? Look, here is an inmate, a prisoner, that all the reason in the world to be upset. He was sold by his brothers. His mother died when he was young. He was thrown into prison for something that he didn't do. He was 13 years in prison. He could have gone around saying, I don't care about anything. But when he saw two prisoners feeling down, he went over to them and says, how can I lift up your spirits? And because of that triggered the lady should translate Pharaoh's dream, and he should become the viceroy of Egypt, and the Jews went into Egypt, and we got the Torah. But where did this whole story start? By someone being in a very dark place, yet being able to see the light that you, even in the darkest places, you could inspire and be there for other people. That was the message the Rebbe was giving to those inmates sitting in 770. Imagine, some of you don't want to even talk to people that are in jail. But the Rebbe looked at wherever you are in life, there's always something positive you could do. From being in prison, or you're struggling in business, or any other health struggle, whatever it may be, or any other challenge you may have. A person always has the ability to take that darkness and make it into light. A lot of times you need a Rebbe, a tzaddik, to illuminate it for you and let you notice how you could turn that moment into something light. And if you look in all the years of the Rebbe's leadership, whenever someone came to talk to the Rebbe, maybe the prime minister, or the mayor, there's so many beautiful stories. And what the Rebbe did is, in that dark moment, the Rebbe turned that in to something very positive. And we have countless hundreds of such stories. So when we're celebrating the Rebbe's Yartzeit this week, how do you keep a tzaddik's neshama's influence alive? Is by continuing to do the things that he did. So each one of us have to look at our life and say, no matter what situation we may be in, we have a responsibility to turn that darkness into light. To notice that no matter how dark the situation may be, we can turn it into something very, very special. May we all be able to do it. May we all have the strength to do it. May the Rebbe's neshama continue to inspire each one of us with goodness and kindness and holiness based on the Holy Torah that we receive from God. Shabbat Shalom.